How to behave properly if you find yourself in a different caste environment. This is indeed a major issue for those who are beginning to realize that not all people are equal. And if you allow yourself to behave inappropriately at certain moments, you can greatly diminish yourself, even to the point of losing your rights. The first thing you must pay attention to and always remember is what I mentioned in response to Mikhail's question. You must exclude from your heart the concept of sympathy and compassion. To sympathize means to place yourself on the same level as another person, to identify with them, to become them. In this context, in relation to the given question, it means lowering yourself to a position where you should never be. Therefore, sympathy and compassion as a method of communication, as a way of interaction, must be excluded from your consciousness. Due to certain social circumstances, we are surrounded by people, we live among them. And even if we understand that both our immediate and more distant surroundings belong to a different cultural level and, more importantly, a different caste, we still have to communicate with them. The key, however, is to remain unwaveringly true to yourself in this situation. This is what the Chinese call saving face. It is important never to forget who you are. And even identifying yourself with another person in thought can have serious consequences. At the same time, it is crucial not to escalate the situation. That means you should not insult, humiliate, or under any circumstances put people in their place just because you perceive them to be in a lower position. You must understand that they are going through their own growth challenges, and the fact that they are in this position is neither good nor bad. It simply is. Everyone goes through their own stage of becoming. Imagine that you are in high school, and they are in primary school. Would you criticize them for not knowing what you know? No. For not being able to do what you can? No. You would treat them as children, as adolescents going through their own stages of development, their own phases of growth. And if you always keep this in mind, then in principle, there will be no conflict situations and certainly no loss of rights. But if you start behaving exactly like them, thereby demonstrating, look, we are the same, then you are undoubtedly lowering yourself. You must maintain maximum distance and respectful conduct, not respect in the sense of holding them in high esteem, but in the sense of not allowing fraternization. It is crucial not to fraternize with those who are not your brothers in spirit or in blood, with anyone at all. You should not form close connections, and of course, you should not enter into family relationships or have children with representatives of a lower caste. This is an iron law for both women and men. Yes? What if you are already married to someone from a lower caste? Then it is your karma, and you will have to live with it. It was your choice, so take responsibility for it. So, does this mean you cannot dissolve a marriage for this reason? Absolutely not. That would be even worse than entering into the marriage in the first place. It was once your conscious decision. Take responsibility for it. You had your reasons for marrying someone from a lower caste, didn't you? That's called love. Take responsibility for it. If you are a warrior, if you are a man, even if you realize that your relationship is no longer the same, that it is not what it was in the beginning, that is not a reason to neglect your duties. Instead, it is a reason to draw conclusions and fulfill your responsibilities to your child with even greater dedication, because the child has nothing to do with your inner struggles. In the end, your child has 50% of your blood, and no one knows what caste he will grow into. Your task is to help him reach at least your level. As for your spouse, that is another matter. By the way, in a man's life, in the process of a man's development, marrying a representative of a lower caste does not have as serious consequences as it does for a woman. If a woman allows herself to do so, then an inevitable law comes into effect. Free women who lived with slaves would become slaves. In other words, if a woman marries a man from a lower caste and has children with him, she automatically, without exception, lowers herself to his level. And until she dissolves that marriage, until she establishes a new status for herself and restores her wholeness in some other way, she will remain on his level. This is why such mistakes tend to have much more severe consequences for women in their karma, in their lives, in their destiny, and in everything else. As for everyday interactions, if you do not know exactly who is in front of you, keep your distance, just in case, until you are sure of who you are dealing with.